Hey yo, Last Bite Productions presents the New Way Podcast. This show contains a lot of adult content that only real manly men can handle, like Ninja Turtles and homoeroticism and erotic novels and our favorite guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So listener discretion is advised. Now let me get on that bench.
And as always, it is a pleasure having you with us again, Mr. Wick.
Integrity is something you sell the public.
You sell whatever you want, but don't sell it here tonight.
I can't see nothing. Gotta open my eye. Come here, man.
You want to do it?
Come on, come here.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Now you're a man. A man.
Whoa.
Now you're a man.
That's some
man.
He's just been waiting to sing this whole time.
That was a lot of peaking right out of the gate. That's we stretching this system as
That's what
tight as it
she
can
said?
go. I think that's what we said.
Okay.
Welcome once again to the New Way Podcast.
We peaked after high school, so that's all that really matters.
There it is. Welcome to the New Way Podcast. Of course, your one-stop shop for discussions about movies, television, musicals, TV, whatever.
All sorts of stuff. Sorry for the brief hiatus, guys. It's been a few weeks.
It's been I've been celebrating every weekend of my 40s so far, and I'm fucking tired. This is my last one, and then I have my big rest.
I think we can stack a couple of podcasts hopefully here coming up, so we'll have some content. Maybe.
Absolutely. And we do have it's of course I'm Matt Shank. I'm here with Ben Wilson and Nick Santa Croce, and we are here with a guy you may have heard on Broadway, Mr. Ryan Alexander Hamilton, sitting in the co-pilot seat over there. How's it going, Ryan?
I'm doing well. I've never heard a Ryan Alexander Hamilton reference.
Really? That's the first?
I'm pretty excited about it.
That's fantastic. I'm excited about it because I just thought of it for the first time.
He's not throwing away his shot on this podcast.
There it is.
That's very true.
So
we have
Matt, if you had Lin-Manuel Miranda's talent, I bet you could have written Hamilton.
Let's not get into that.
I feel like I could have written Hamilton if I had that kind of talent.
I feel like I could have written a third grade level version of Hamilton.
Okay. Oh my god!
The narrative just keeps changing.
So this is we do have Ryan here, and I think I want to kick off the podcast a little bit to ask. We want to interview you a little bit, Ryan.
Well, first of all, where do I've got bandanas I want to tie onto the mic stand.
To go full Aerosmith on
this?
us?
Can I do that?
You can do it whatever your pretty heart desire. Oh, he's reaching over to Nick's crotch right now.
Ryan's been to your breakfast nook. He wants a bandana for his microphone.
So this is true.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, then you already know that Ryan is wearing his turnover chain.
This is true.
He is not a Miami fan. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign for the Canes this year.
I love it. I mean, I think that
it's always good to get a turnover.
I mean, I think
he's right.
I think Beth says it for all of us.
I love it.
Okay.
I think that's really important.
Nerd rope motherfuckers.
So Ryan is one of our
cover band,
our super fans out there from Planet Houston in Texas. So what other podcasts do you listen to? Is it just us, or you listen to a lot of podcasts?
No, I listen to a lot. I had for the longest time in Houston. I had like a 40-minute drive, so plenty of podcasts. I feel like it's all for a long time. It was all true crime type stuff. So
what was the 40-minute drive to?
Work.
Oh, just work. Okay, I was hoping there'd be something saucy in the mix there.
A rub and tug. We had to do another 40-minute drive last night too, and that was a whole thing.
No, my girlfriend's going to listen to this, so I drove 40 minutes to work.
There we go.
And then 40 minutes home.
So other than the New Way, which is
that's 80 minutes,
your favorite podcast, obviously, what are some other podcasts you're listening to out there?
My favorite murder is probably one of my go-tos.
What do they call fans of that?
Murderinos.
Isn't that? It's very.
Is
Ned
that for real?
It's Ned
That's a real thing.
That's a weird.
It is.
That's crazy.
Hi diddly-o, murderinos.
Exactly. What? There's another one. Oh, Armchair Expert with Dak Shepard is one of my favorites.
I know a lot of people like that one.
It's surprisingly good for just like a straight up interview podcast. It's
He had a really good Hot Ones, and I remember that was the last time I thought I got to check his podcast out, but I haven't listened yet. He's really good on Hot
I'll
Ones.
definitely have to check that one out. Now, another question. Now that you've slept in my home and eaten of my sandwiches and
Great sandwich.
Euphemism.
who is your favorite member of the New Way? I know before you said it was me, but then you changed your mind last minute and went with young Nicholas over there. So just forgetting that I have let you sup of my teat. Who is your favorite on the podcast?
Do the right thing. I know what's in your heart.
Matt just said sup of my teeth.
Sup of my teat. Shut your mouth, Ben.
I like teats.
I don't know good words like you and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Sup of my teats is a great word phrase, whatever it is.
New band name, Sup of My Teats.
I've got to go with Matt.
William Butler.
He's fed me. He's homed me.
Yes.
He's homed you.
We saw Man Ass this morning on television and we paused it.
We definitely paused it, took pictures, lots of things.
Here's the thing.
Perfect
though.
segue to this topic.
For 30 seconds, walked into my house today. My house and Matt's house differ greatly. And I told you straight up, I was just like, Ryan, I think you're probably going to be more comfortable staying at Matt's house on Thursday night. So
We were up late enough and drunk enough last night that I sent my brother a 2 a.m. text message asking what that crab place was he took me to once by his house.
And he forgot about it when his brother responded this morning.
Because my brother goes, Riggins. And I was like,
What? I don't
Not
understand.
Riggins, Rustic Inn.
Rustic
I
Inn.
was about to say, Riggins is up here.
I was like, Rustic Inn, why are you telling me about this? And I look above it, and it's like a very neatly written 1:41 a.m.
He drunk
What was that
texts
crab place
way
that we
better than
went
I
to
do.
once?
And how late is it open? Is it open until 5 a.m.?
Now, does your girlfriend, who's going to be arriving in Florida tonight, does she share your same geeky interest in movies, or are there certain things you watch together? Nice.
That was the answer.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say one of our love languages is movies. So she's more of a one-on-one person than I am. Like, I feel like if we're hanging out in a group that's good quality time, I have to be very aware that she does not believe that. So
she's gonna have a long weekend,
which is one of those things where it's like I need to not be offended that she wants to hang out with me individually. Like, that's actually a great compliment, but I don't think about that. So I have to be very aware of that.
You and I are going to get along just fine.
You know, like she's flying in tonight. Tomorrow, I have to make sure I've blocked out, 4 hours so that she can go
some
get
one-on-one time.
Stone crab.
Oh, yeah.
Last year she discovered that she absolutely loves stone crab. So
we got plenty of that in Florida.
Oh yeah,
But it wasn't a stone.
Plenty of crabs in Florida. I've seen all the strip clubs.
There it is.
But yeah, movies definitely. If I'm visiting her, then we're going to at least one movie, and it's something that we basically, our second date was to see The Wizard of Oz at the Texas Theater in like 35 millimeter, like old school.
Oh, that's badass.
Nice.
Really cool. It's the theater that I think Lee Harvey Oswald ran to or something like that. It's historical theater. It's a really cool setup. So movies were like there from the beginning for the both of us.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude.
But that's the guy from the James Franco Hulu show, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
No, you met Ben in a beer trade group on the interwebs.
Allegedly.
What is the best beer you have ever had? Do you have one that instantly makes you rock hard when you even just think about having it?
Can we vote to retire that phrase in the podcast?
What, rock hard? I mean, no.
Is that how we
Not
measure?
if you keep touching my pants like this.
we measure the...
I would give
now.
this beer 3 dicks up and now 4 dicks up.
I did dicks up was the scale.
Nicely done.
I wasn't there to agree on that scale, but I guess it's canon now, right?
Yep, it's canon.
Okay. All right.
Canon.
Canonical.
I don't know. I've had so many really good beers. It's tough. The one that always sticks out of my head is a beer from Angry Chair called Wilfred.
Ooh.
So it's like...
It is good. It's really good.
It's their Imperial German chocolate cupcake stout. So it's just like...
That sounds decadent.
Delicious already, and then it has maple.
Yep.
It's maple
Is that a
syrup.
reference to the show?
I don't even like maple
I think it's a
beers, and I
reference
like
to
that beer.
diabetes.
Oh. Brimley.
That took such a left turn. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's
that's-
maple Imperial German chocolate cupcake. It's diabetes. There's nothing Nobody's diabetes today.
All right, so for my last part of the Ryan interview here, so we'll get you off the hot
we're done?
seat.
This was quick.
I wanted to, we're going to get into the podcast.
See
We'll
y'all
give us
later.
some time. But I pulled together a Tom Hanks yelling supercut, and I want to see if you can tell me what movies some of these yells are from. Now,
That's
I
great.
have not watched all of this, so
I
let's
cannot.
let's try this right here.
So just open to Ryan for when can
everyone,
we get our,
if you guys
when
can
can
buzz
we get
in.
our meat hooks on
You guys
this?
can buzz in.
Okay. Okay, got it.
I know what it is.
You know it?
It's Castaway.
It's Castaway, right?
That's
Easy.
correct. He's going to finish it out first.
Yeah. It's his tooth.
it still
It's his tooth,
Castaway?
right?
Yes. This is a new one.
I am not a fish!
Anyone?
How many times am I going to have to tell you people
Oh, Splash.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the hole that was filled with water and we had to dive in to save the virgin who was being eaten by the giant snake!
That's
Joe versus Volcano.
Yep.
Toy!
Toy Story.
That's an easy one.
Toy Story.
You're an action figure! You are a child's plaything! What is it? What?
Turn hoof.
Yes.
God, it is. I love that
good
movie
job.
too.
Burgers, eat the buns! Eat the buns! You're not thirsty. You're not touching the water, the orange juice.
Okay. Anyway, so in keeping with this Tom Hanks thing, there's a reason why the Tom Hanks. Ryan and I were having a conversation earlier this month about Mr. Hanks, for whom we share an affinity, and an affinity for. Yes. No, I believe so. And we were joking
Wait,
about
who doesn't like Tom Hanks?
With whom?
with whom we share an affinity for. You have an affinity for.
No,
okay,
you don't
this
have
is-
to put
this
the
is too
for.
much.
With
No
whom we
for.
share an affinity.
Okay,
That's
all right. We shared an infinity car.
Affinity Force.
We
infinity
made a
gauntlet?
joke about a sequel to Big called Bigger, and of course we went to the same conclusion that it would be about a man who wishes for a bigger dick. And Ryan, now Ryan said the funniest phrase I've ever heard. He goes like, "I want chicks to be like, that thing is disrespectful because of its bigness," which I thought was hysterical. So I decided, in honor of Ryan flying all the way here, I would cut a trailer for the movie Bigger. I'm going to warn you, I had to do this like in 30 minutes last night before Nick showed up. My Tom Hanks impersonation is the worst impersonation I've ever done. And at one point I go full Nathan Lane instead of Tom Hanks, but I couldn't change it. So
Okay.
I apologize for what you're about to
You've
hear.
got resting Nathan Lane voice.
So here we go.
When Josh Baskin was 12 years old, he made a little wish that had a big impact.
I wish I were big.
I made this wish on a machine, and it turned me into a grown-up.
Being a grown-up wasn't all it was cracked up to be back then. But now it's 25 years later, and Josh is a 37-year-old half-virgin living in Cliffside Park, New Jersey. He's jobless because he can't keep up with today's computers, and he has some major problems in the bedroom. His only hope is that fortune might strike twice. I wish I was bigger.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Hey Josh, you look great today. Are you taller or something? Or something. Now Josh is a hit with the ladies and on the radar of the biggest porn game in town, the Bang Bus. Asking, we are gonna make you a star, a big, bright, shining star. But sometimes growing bigger doesn't always mean growing up. Baskin, what's the deal? You're like a wet noodle over there. I don't know what's wrong. Billy's song usually works. Shimmy, shimmy, go, go, bop. Shimmy, shimmy, go, go, bop.
Cosby?
Shimmy, shimmy, go, go, bop.
What's Cosby?
Tom Hanks is bigger.
That's my trailer for Bigger in honor
Well
of,
done, sir.
Wow.
A golf clap. Wait.
maybe
Penny.
maybe the worst thing. sorry.
Sorry, Penny.
What a great
Ben
way
Ja-
to respect her memory.
After Ben killed her by talking about her 1 week before she died.
What are you talking
we
about?
do this.
You did do that.
You did do that. You name dropped Penny Marshall and did a bad
You did
impersonation.
a horrible impression of her.
do anything.
No, no.
That was a weird
Nick
Tom
goes,
Hanks.
Nick goes, don't do that to her. And then a week later, done. You killed Penny Marshall. So
I tried to stop.
God
it.
bless you, Penny Marshall. You know that was all in jest. I love Penny Marshall. I love your movies. I
She'll
love
never
what you
know
do.
you said that.
You'll always live on.
She listened to the last
She
podcast.
knows.
That's the last thing she heard from you, Ben.
You'll always live on in Matt's impersonations.
That's not mine. That's maybe the worst, the worst impersonation.
Wow.
Now, before we get into,
I would like to say the sound effect of the dick hitting the floor. You did pull that off. I was
that
here.
took me a bit to get.
I
working.
was in the room as he searched for different meaty
Thudding
thud
sounds.
sound effects.
What I appreciate the most is
What was that? You were trying to go.
That's because I wanted an unzip and a.
I was
and Nick, I goes
flapping
unzip
it
and it was
around.
like.
No, I was just
slapping.
testing it. Like a more like a. You want it to sound like a
meat on meat sound.
What I appreciate the most is that whole premise is based off something I don't even remember saying. Like, is my life that inappropriate?
I just
He
love the
shits
idea.
gold nuggets and just forgets about them.
I love that you're like, I want
Brilliant.
a dick that's disrespectful because of its bigness. Like, your dick is disrespecting women because it's so big. It's amazing.
And what you're sticking on is the disrespectful part. Bigness isn't a
because of
word.
its bigness.
That's like, why did I say bigness?
That's just disrespectful.
It's just
How can
My grammar in that sentence was disrespectful.
That was the only thing I didn't have time to do. Is I
Maybe
wanted the
it's a
girl to
business.
go like, something's different about you. Your dick's so disrespectful. I just didn't have time to get it recorded.
Oh, well.
But I tried. So I wanted to very quickly get everyone's opinion on this because it's been going on a while now as they've been trying to get a new Batman movie off, and it sounds like officially now Affleck is gone off the Batman.
Scott.
Adam Scott as Batman?
I mean, really, Adam Scott from Parks and Rec as Batman.
Ooh, that's a really hot take on the Batman casting. I mean, he's going to have to get away from the cones of Dunshire.
Shut your mouth. He does not need to get away from that. Batman plays cones of Dunshire.
So Ben, who's your dream Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Okay. All right. I knew that was going to happen.
Set him up for that.
Come on.
Okay. Nick, who do you want to cast as Batman?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, Batman.
Wait,
I
can
like
he
this.
play James Bond and Batman?
That's in a perfect world.
I don't.
What if he plays James Bond and Batman in the same movie where it's Batman versus Bond? Bat versus Bond. I would watch that movie in a second.
A BB fight.
The B versus
yeah.
B. Do you have a choice, Ben? You have somebody that you would like to see put on the cowl?
John Hamm is like the most on the nose,
It's
right?
so
They can't
good.
fit-
though.
So John Hamm is only if you do the latter,
The older
like
Batman.
the later years, like Dark Knight years. If
John Hamm, by the way, is like
I'm not-
37.
How do they
I'm
fit,
not
he's
sold on-
like almost 50.
how do
Is
they
he?
fit that
Yeah.
wiener into
I thought he was way
that,
younger.
the Batman costume?
Well, he'd play the version
The
of
big dick
Batman,
Batman.
that did show his penis in the comic books that I sent to you.
I think that would be the fan favorite.
I think John Hamm would be good as the goddamn Batman, like the Frank Miller,
Yeah.
dark, older,
Well, see, the thing is, I'm not-
surlier Batman.
I'm not sold on him as Batman at all. It just he'd be such a good Bruce Wayne that I'd give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's got a good jaw. I think he could pull
No,
off the bat.
I really think he could pull it off pretty well. Actually, I think he could do both because he definitely has the comedy chops.
But he hasn't done
and
any
timing.
action stuff.
No, but he could. I mean, he could get it. He can do it.
He did Baby Driver, which was kind of an action movie.
Okay. Now, so let's say we go young. Let's because that's where Batman I always think is an older character. But let's say we do like a 20s Batman. Like who can actually fit that role that's younger? And I don't know that I can't think of
Armie
anybody.
Hammer.
Well, I mean, Gyllenhaal's been thrown around a lot, but I don't like Gyllenhaal as Batman. I love Gyllenhaal, but not as Batman.
Is Gyllenhaal in his
He'd be a good
20s?
Nightwing.
No, he's in his
30s.
late 30s now. It's interesting because if you want to do like an origin, but it's so tired.
about a young Batman?
Nobody cares about doing
If I
an
have to
origin
watch
story.
fucking Martha Wayne's
watches-
pearls fall on the ground one more fucking time, I'm gonna shoot myself.
I'm going to
Matt.
throw this out there just because I really like this guy. Donald Glover.
Donald Glover Batman. Well, he was gonna be
Donald
Miles
Glover
Morales.
can be everything.
Yeah.
Donald Glover can be anything.
Donald Glover is everything.
I love
is
that
everything.
man.
I've been going on a Childish Gambino tear past couple days.
I saw him in Houston.
Oh, really?
4 months ago.
Oh man,
Fantastic live show.
I'll throw
I'm
out a
jealous.
name who I think would be a really good Batman.
Nick Jonas?
No, I would say Ben Foster would be a really good Batman.
Ooh, Ben
Because he
Foster.
can go so dark, and he's a really good dark
I mean, I kind of like to see Ben Foster Robin though too. I would watch that.
He's
movie.
older now, though.
Yeah, this is true.
Ben Foster's almost 40.
I don't watch Gotham. Do you watch Gotham?
I do.
No.
You do watch Gotham. Do
Yes.
you watch Gotham for young Batman?
No,
Who
I
wants
watch
to
it for the
young
villains.
Batman. Who cares?
No, but I mean, but even in the 20s doesn't make him that young. I mean, it's just a 20-year-old,
It's just not
25-year-old
compelling.
Batman.
Ben Foster would be like a 34-year-old
Yeah.
Batman. It would be the same as Christian Bale.
That plays to Spider-Man so much better because he's interesting as a kid, amateur superhero. But like, who cares? Like, I want Batman as Batman. Let's go.
Wait. How about this, Nick? Charlie Cox as Batman.
How dare you?
Do you think that they could do it? Do you
No.
think that would work?
You would.
No.
So what about this guy? He's already typecast in the not typecast, but he's already cast in the superhero universe. But what about Chris Pratt?
I mean, I'll cast any of the Chris's anything, but not as Batman.
He would be fine as
He'd be
Bruce
an interesting
Wayne.
Joker.
But I want like Parks and Rec Chris Pratt and
He could do the Bruce Wayne
chubby
thing
Chris
fine.
Pratt. So it's like an everyman Batman.
You want a Parks and Rec movie? Is what you want?
Wait,
you don't
hold
have-
on.
Accurate.
with superheroes.
You want
Yes.
you want
Yeah.
Fat Man.
No, I like
Yes,
I
I
like
do.
the idea that Chris Pratt is it's like Brewster's Millions. He's just a schlub that inherits a bunch of money and becomes Batman based on that he just has money.
So he's essentially Green Hornet.
Yes, exactly that. I would
Shut
watch
your
that.
whore mouth.
Now
nobody's green.
Now I have a bit that I'm resurrecting. Not resurrecting because it was fairly recent.
He's
but,
erecting.
Since Ryan is our guest, I would like you to pick a number between 1 and 4, Ryan.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
2.
Okay. You get number 2. Don't look at it yet. Keep it face down. Nicholas, what number would you like?
I choose not to participate in this.
Nick,
You can't do that.
You sick fuck.
what number? 1, 3, or 4? Quickly.
Choose or I'll
One.
choose for you.
All right. Nick's number 1. Ben, 3 or 4?
Dealer's choice.
All right. All right. So we did this once before. I picked 2016's worst erotic novel excerpts, and we are going to once again do our best attempt.
Ryan, you're going to play this for Kristen
To,
later. She's going to be so excited.
I don't
Do
Do we
like
have music
this.
for this yet?
Arouse. I did get music this time
Yes.
after you complained so much last
Good
time that
job,
I'm not
good
good
job.
enough. I
He's-
am good enough.
They're learning.
Gosh darn it, people like me. So
You're like a raptor. Pretty soon you'll be able to open doors on your own.
we're gonna start with. You want to start it off, Ryan? You confident in
Yeah.
this?
No.
You sure?
Okay.
All right.
I want to make Ben go first.
Okay, we're gonna let Ben go first. I'm gonna give you a little sexy music. Again, these are real excerpts from erotic novels that were considered to be the worst that were offered in 2016.
In 2016. Okay. From the erotic novel Men Like Air by Tom Connolly.
Air?
Sequel to The Air Up There.
I do like Air.
Solid basketball movie.
Okay. The walkway to the terminal was all carpet, no oxygen. Dilly bundled Finn into the first restroom on offer, locked the cubicle door, and pulled at his leather belt. "You're beautiful," she told him, going down onto her haunches and unzipping him.
Yeah.
He watched her passport rise gradually out of the back pocket of her jeans in time with the rhythmic bobbing of her buttocks as she sucked him. He arched over her back and took hold of the passport before it landed on the pimpled floor. Despite the immediate circumstances,
Pimple?
human nature obliged him to take a look at her passport photo.
Wow. Ooh,
So first of all, I can't get going when you use terms like haunches and pimpled.
I love
Was
a
the
girl with
floor
nice
pimpled?
haunches.
Pimpled floor.
Pimpled floor.
What is a pimpled floor?
Oh, baby, you know what a pimpled
No,
floor
I don't.
is.
Does it have like? Can you pop it?
I feel like I got the short end of the stick.
They start off the first time in Ben's life he's gotten the short end.
Short end of the dick is what I got.
You chose it.
They start off with the title saying "Men love air," and then the first line is "There was no oxygen." Like, oh, they're setting the stakes high
Touche.
early.
I do like that you called it the men in the air up there. It's a great Connect Four
Who was
sequel.
that? Was that Manute Bowl?
Yes, it
All
was
right.
Manute Bowl.
Hey, Nick, give us a
All
little
right, Nick.
lovin'. All right, you do it.
Give you what?
Do it, Nick.
Do it, Nick.
I want to
Get
say,
it, Rabbit.
I want to say this feels a little. It's a little wrong to be forced to bear my erotic soul with you without.
I mean, you were so good last time.
Yeah. Well, if you say so.
Really into it.
A Doubter's Almanac by Ethan Canine. The act itself was fervent. Like a brisk tennis game or summer track meet. Something performed in daylight between competitors. The cheap mattress bounced. She liked to do it more than once, and he was usually able to comply.
Usually.
But I'm very tired.
Why is he
today.
British?
Bourbon was his gasoline.
Yes.
Between sessions, he poured it at the counter, while she lay panting on the sheets. Sweat burnished her body. The lean neck, the surprisingly full breast. He would down another glass and return. No period. It's just return.
So it's
and no period.
Essentially the Nick Santa Croce story.
Was it bourbon was his gasoline?
Bourbon
was his gasoline.
I thought he said bourbon. I was like, what?
She liked to
burp,
go.
Charlie, burp. It's the only way.
I don't know, Morty. I think the most honest passage that has ever been written is she liked to go twice, and usually he could comply.
Usually he would comply.
All right, you're up, Ryan.
Oh no!
It's time to nut up or shut up.
It looks like a hearty paragraph too.
Oh yeah.
This is, and I can't read, so it's gonna be even more difficult.
Yeah, keep talking.
What last name is that?
It's working.
I don't know.
C. Thaler.
All right.
Thaler.
This excerpt
can't fight
Excerpt.
Thaler. Thaler.
Ben will correct me if this is wrong. The excerpt
There you go.
from The Tobacconist by Robert C. Thaler.
Yes.
Sorry if I butchered your name, Robert.
I'm sure he's a listener.
Dear New Way, I was very upset to hear your last episode.
I am going to tag all of these people in this podcast and see if it works.
Yes, do it. All right. He closed his eyes and heard himself make a gurgling sound. And as his trousers slipped down his legs, all the burdens of his life to date seemed to fall away from him.
Wow.
He tipped back his head and faced up into the darkness beneath the ceiling. And for one blessed moment, he felt as if he could understand the things of this world in all their immeasurable beauty.
It's deep.
How strange they are, he thought. Life and all of these things. Then he felt Inezka slide down before him to the floor, felt her hands grab his naked buttocks, and draw him to her. "Come, sonny boy," he heard her whisper, and with a smile, he let go.
Wow.
First of
Sonny
all,
boy.
The music is really
"Come,
syncing
sonny
up.
boy" doesn't fit at all. Also, the
Come,
name, the
sonny
name
boy.
Inezka
Inezka.
really
I
threw me
like
for a
this.
wrench there.
Wow.
Inezka.
I actually have to re-loop the song. we used all 5 minutes and 24 seconds of it.
I felt that blessed
Okay,
should
go for
be
another
pronounced
round.
blessed.
Blessed. I do like
I
this.
feel like that's how that should
That was a
have
strong
gone.
choice.
That was just creative choice.
That was good.
Blessed
right.
is the fruit.
Blessed is the fruit. Okay, so this is entitled "The Day Before Happiness" by Ari DeLuca.
Fuck you, Handmaiden's Tale.
She pushed on my hips in order that thrust me in. I entered her. Not only my prick, but the whole of me entered her, into her guts, into her darkness, eyes wide open, seeing nothing.
Jesus Christ.
My whole body had gone inside her.
That's not how it works.
I went. Shh, try to be erotic here.
This is Tom Hanks' character in Big describing what he thinks sex is.
I was saying it's a sixth grader being like, "This is the neurotic novel."
I'm inside. Just remember where we were. I'm entirely inside her.
All of you, everything.
All of me, the whole thing, all arms and limbs.
Her all of me.
All arms and hands stay inside the car at all times.
Are you reading from it?
No. Okay.
His erotic novel is actually a safety guide for a roller coaster.
Are you still reading.
Steven Tyler comes on a second. He's just like, "What? Look at the go, rock! Yeah, it's gonna go."
Oh no! Oh
no! We've lost it. We've lost it.
Got a lot more to go.
Okay, the Aerosmith roller coaster was the best.
Okay. It's still there. It's still there. It's still there. All right.
Damn, it's great.
I went in with her thrust and stayed still. While I got used to the quiet and the pulsing of my blood in my ears and nose, she pushed me out a little, then in again. She did it again and again,
She's doing all the
holding
work.
me with force and moving me to the rhythm of the surf.
Like a fuck doll.
She wiggled her breasts beneath my hands, which is a weird image to think of.
That's an amateur move.
And intensified the pushing.
Is this one longer than everyone else's?
I'm almost done. I went in up to my...
It's the Ben Wilson of erotic excerpt.
I'm almost there.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera,
almost
man.
there.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Oh,
Don't
here
touch
it
it.
is.
Don't
Here
touch
it
it.
is.
Don't move it.
I went in up to my groin and came out almost entirely. My body was her gear stick.
Jesus.
Larry, you always get the just completely
because they hold on to
batshit
them.
bananas one.
I numbered them so you know I can't choose the one. There was a free choice.
It's bizarre. It's so
son of a
crazy.
bitch.
Jesus.
You son
They
of a
were
bitch.
all number 4.
There's some sleight of hand going on.
Yeah, fuck all of you.
He wrote the numbers as we chose.
I legitimately, purposely numbered them because I know I was going to get accused of somehow duping you.
But David blamed
That
us.
so cracked me up. I'm almost done.
I really just want to know what a tobacconist is.
It's a person that sells cigarettes and
That's not
other
it.
tobaccos.
That's not correct.
Christian Bale.
What is it?
That's not
Christian
inaccurate.
Bale got
Machinist.
ready for his role by smoking 24 packs of cigarettes a day to star in The Tobacconist.
Seems unhealthy.
Oh, Jesus.
So was the machinist.
I saw The Tobacconist with Ed Norton.
The illusionist? Yes, very
The
nice.
tobacconist.
Very nice. Okay, so after that rousing, we're gonna do more of these. I've got to find out how many
Rousing or
years. they have.
Arousing.
Rousing. Yes.
We're gonna do more today.
So we're no, not today.
thank
But so I want to move on to our main topic of the podcast. And Ben, you came up with the topic, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, actually, it was kind of spawned by the fact that we knew that Ryan was going to be in town, and we hadn't really discussed what we were going to actually talk about because we were just excited that we were going to have fun and have a fun podcast. But something that we have discussed in the past is sort of the term. Or one of the things that when we look back on movies a lot of times, especially as I've looked back on 80s movies like Commando and First Blood, especially like First Blood Part 3, where it's just these are just these manly men that just kind of conform to all of these manly stereotypes. And I was just how funny would it be if we just talked about not just the convention of manly movies,
Sure.
Of what we think is a manly movie.
Because I'm very manly.
Because Ryan's very manly and
Only
he
on
likes
the
very
inside.
manly movies.
We're manly men.
And let me just say that there's a note.
Get that drop.
Men in tights.
I have
Tights.
yes. Tights.
You did it.
But I actually have a note in my. I want to read you something at the end of the podcast. If you don't mention it, I have a note in here that I'm going to read at the end.
So listeners, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So if you've already tuned out, you missed out on everything.
Yes, you missed out on everything.
So Nick, what do you think about the history? When did manly movies kind of get on your radar? Was it the 80s was kind of the heyday of the
Because
manly
I feel like a lot of our fathers probably push a lot of the quote unquote manly movies on us, right? Or
My parents were pretty protective when it came to movies. I didn't see a lot of action. I didn't watch a lot of quote unquote manly cartoons. I didn't watch He-Man. I didn't watch G.I. Joe. I didn't watch Transformers.
Neither
none.
did I.
None.
I need to fight you.
I'm not saying I would have liked it. I didn't watch it as a kid. I was a Ninja Turtles guy.
Hold on.
That was manly too.
Hold on.
It's not manly. It's nerdy.
You can be both.
Yes.
Why is Ninja Turtles mutually exclusive from He-Man?
If we're talking about the what I think the traditional manly, you can go the 3 metrics: unnecessary TNA,
necessary
explosions, and the main character has a cool nickname. Those are my 3 metrics for a true action film.
Dylan, you
Son of a bitch.
I got two of the ones you mentioned there. I don't have the what was the first
You've
one?
been pushing too many pencils.
Actually, yeah. So before we even get into it, I'm interested in this because I have a quick rundown.
All right. Sorry.
Ryan, what are your metrics for a manly movie?
No metrics. I have no I am not a metrics guy. So the fact that he even said metrics, I was like, shit, I'm out of my league here.
No, I'm not saying I am either. I was making a joke. Like if we're talking about the traditional manly movie, they would always have those three things in it.
Well, okay.
So here's my metrics.
Okay.
And let me get my notes out. I made notes.
Your notes or your nuts?
My nuts are going to not
they've
be
changed.
out.
And they've
They're
changed
already out.
Well, I'm
so hold on. Here are my metrics.
Okay.
Does it include Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal,
Yep,
or random boobs that I could see as a kid?
we're on the same page here.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's a manly's movies, but that's what I grew up thinking was manly.
Time Cop was the first boobs that I saw on film.
I'm kind of curious, right?
two.
So that's very
two
much
and
the '80s kind of manly movie. If we look at the history, though, manly movies, I think definitely started, and I'm trying to figure out where the origin is. You've got cowboys, westerns, which I think are manly movies. Ben's got it. Black and white. Give me the black and white first manly movie.
No, I was just waving my arms in the
Pre-code
air.
film
because
with Ben Wilson.
I actually
You stole my joke.
I feel like I have the genesis of the action of the manly movie.
All right, let's do it.
Is that the first thing that after film came out is I feel like the first manly men were war heroes.
Yeah, war movies.
It was war movies. It was propaganda film. It was these movies, whatever. And I even have an example like Glenn Ford in Destroyer. Like he's a submarine. First captain. Strong. You had these characters that were just larger than life, and they were like these were men. These were heroes.
They were the G.I. Joes.
These were heroes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. For exactly that purpose. But see, the thing is the manly man evolved from there. I feel like the next iteration of the manly man was in the Western.
Yeah.
Because then you move to the John Wayne, and you have characters, like Ethan Edwards from The Searchers, John Wayne.
Sure.
Probably the best role, or at least the most known role of his career. But if you talk to anybody who was in my grandfather's generation and you said, like, what's the epitome of the manly man? What's the manly man? It's John Wayne from The Searchers. It's Ethan Edwards.
So do you think following that, do you think it's more McQueen or Eastwood that's the manly man?
Here's the thing. I think that then the manly man got
Sigourney Weaver and Aliens.
Well, there
Yes.
you go. I was going to make that joke later. But anyways,
That's not a joke.
That's not. No, that's a real. It's a.
We're going to get to that in a second. But so
first of all, Ben, of course, is going to get to.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
He's going to find a way to talk about aliens.
Of course I will. But
that was a great interpretation.
But you're
of that
exactly
scene.
right, Matt. Is that the next iteration of the man's man was the cop? It was
Yes.
it was the tough cop. And what I went to was Bullitt. I went to that was the first
John
thing I thought
McClane.
was Frank Bullitt as Steve McQueen
Yep.
in the movie Bullitt. But then the second thought I had was Dirty Harry. I was just like, man,
Yeah.
Eastwood is so good. But the only thing that I have to say is Eastwood's always kind of a man's man. I mean, even in
Sure.
Nobody's Fool, even in
Except in
Unforgiven.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers, where
Okay,
he
maybe.
sings terribly.
So
real quick. Dirty Harry versus Cool Hand Luke and a man off. Who wins?
Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah,
Nice,
I think
good
so.
answer.
I think so.
You got
What about
I like that.
RoboCop for the championship?
That's pretty good.
So this.
By the way,
leads us-
I want to get back to that, Nick. I want to do some versus battles at the end of this podcast.
So anyways, I
Sorry, Ben.
just
Sorry, Ben.
really want to quickly go through this because that leads us to the 80s, which we're talking about, which is these manly men where we started talking about just like brute force and the ability to be cool, but be huge and be just brutish. And that's where Schwarzenegger became a huge thing.
What was that?
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
This has
And,
been the slurred sophisticated.
Exactly. Thank you. Please slow that down later, Matt.
Oh, good for
As long as the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls when you slow it down.
But also, your Stallone movies and stuff like that. I had an interesting thing is that
God, Matt's drunk.
I thought that John McCready and The Thing Kurt Russell in The Thing, John McCready. That was a man's man to me. So that was my
In
kind
the
of
Arctic.
but also just kind of like that strong, like
what kind of
I'm
dick?
a dude.
The Arctic.
But here's the last iteration that I feel like we still have permeations of all of these different types of tough men and manly men in Hollywood. But I feel like the last one was the intelligent or the con or the fast thinking kind of quick. It doesn't have to be brutish.
Okay.
It has to be quick and smart, and that's the manly man. And I'm thinking Frank Ocean. Like I'm thinking the George Clooney, Ocean's 11 kind of. You would not say George Clooney in Ocean's 11 as Frank Ocean. That is a man's
That's
man.
a man's man.
That is a manly
Sinatra,
man.
a throwback to Sinatra.
Exactly. It's a throwback to Sinatra, but it's still kind of that
Which
more
is also
intelligence than brute strength.
Exactly.
What's kind of interesting is I think
Chris Pine in Wonder Woman is the manliest. I mean, the manliest movie of the year, Wonder Woman. I'm going to highlight Chris Pratt's manliness.
Chris Pine.
Oh, Pine, right.
Are we talking about Chris Pratt again?
I feel like we'll get to it later, but I feel like there are lots of movies where there are characters that combine all of those elements. There are lots of them. Where it's tons. All of or a little bit of some of those qualities all combined.
Like your Ethan Hunts and whatnot. But so
exactly.
What's kind of interesting you made me think of when you talk about cleaning that is that
Mission Impossible, totally.
We did that transition actually with Sinatra, and that's really the missing link between the Western and the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Was the just suave and there's one that we're missing, big one in there, which is James Bond, who also was in the '60s, which was the sophisticated,
James, very sophisticated,
manly man.
Exactly. Yes.
Can we talk about like
we touched on James Bond?
Ben,
remember who touched James Bond?
Lots of women. Lots.
All of them.
Ben talked about
Versus
like
Batman.
very specific subcultures of these manly movies. I'd like to bring one up that is not so much specific.
Cool.
What about Over the Top?
With Adam Sandler?
He's a truck
No,
driver.
Truck driver
that has to arm wrestle for
Yes.
his child.
Yeah.
That's the manliest thing
So,
you could
pretty
ever
much,
even contemplate in the 80s.
See, I was trying to think. I was just talking in archetypes. That's one of the manliest premises you could ever possibly come up with.
Well, and especially because there's that heart. Well, first of all,
Save your child through brute.
The heart
strength.
element was very evident in the 80s. You look at Commando.
Commando
Commando is about his daughter
saving his daughter.
And I'll actually use that as the segue, because what we wanted, we had a kind of a list of things to put together for the podcast, and we've gone through the history here. But the first question was, what is our favorite old school manly movie? And that is mine. Commando is my be-all, end-all of 80s action movies. I think it's my favorite. I like it more than Die Hard. I like it more than RoboCop. I like it more than a lot of movies that are probably better movies. But as a kid, something connected with me. Maybe it was that Alyssa Milano was in it, and I had a crush on her through my entire life.
Everybody
did. But that movie to me is so ridiculous. And I love it. I love every part of how ridiculous it is, how his quips are so silly. I love that the villain in that movie, played by Robert Vernon, I believe is an Australian actor, he had to replace someone at the last minute, and the budget was so low in the movie they couldn't get him a new costume. So that's why he doesn't fit in the costume. It looks like he's got these skin tight weird things. It's because he was 5 inches taller and much thicker than the person that was playing the role a week before. But that movie there's a scene of Commando, John Book, I believe is his name in the movie, getting ready to go to his final battle, and it's just zippers and laces and weapons being thrust inside,
and I
giant
think penises.
I think that
was also done in Aliens.
Yeah, with one of the things that we did not touch upon as a staple of a manly movie is, I think, to be a true manly movie, there is a level of homoeroticism and fetishizing of the manly man that we don't like to talk about.
Well, Top Gun's going to the top of the list right now.
I'd like y'all to look at my notes,
but I mean,
where I have Top Gun, Arrow 2,
yes,
a little gay.
I think a part of the manly movie, and why a lot of men like the manly movies, is there is a eroticism to these movies. There's a lot of innuendo in these flicks.
Listen, so sometimes guys like to look at ripped guys fucking shit up.
Absolutely. And if anyone in this room claims they don't admire a nice male form, you're lying. It's weird. This is what we do. We objectify men and women alike.
Don't tell me what to think.
I'm just going to interject because I think y'all would really like Dax Shepard because he talks about this exact same thing where he just loves the male physique. He's like, I love dudes that juice and work out, and it's the weirdest thing, but I love it, and I actually really enjoy that. He's like, no, yeah, I'm into it.
Dudes That Juice is my favorite porno, by the way. It is so
Dudes That Juice.
So good.
You sure that was Dude Juice?
So Ryan, you mentioned Top Gun and things. So is Top Gun your favorite old school manly movie?
No.
Oh, what is your favorite old school manly movie?
So I've got a couple.
No love for Dude Juice, really? No one liked that one?
No, I loved it. I thought it was hysterical.
Sorry.
I think we all love Dude Juice.
Top 5.
Matt loves Dude Juice.
I love Dude Juice.
Get that drop.
So when I think about old school, the first one that jumps out to me is Bloodsport.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's the manliest movie.
It's called Bloodsport.
Yeah. First of all, it meets number one criteria is it's got Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's blood and sport.
It's about blood and sports, which are two of my favorite things. And
sports.
It's got a guy that can bounce his chest up and down.
Oh, like he'd make his pecs, his boobies move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Chong Li is like the greatest villain ever created.
Chung Li?
Chong Li?
Oh, Chong Li.
Chong Li.
Chun Li? Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
Chun Li is Street
But
Fighter.
The other one that I thought of immediately was Predator.
Oh, yes.
There's no...
Yeah.
A movie full of manly men.
I challenge you, as Ben is saying, I challenge you to name a movie with a cast of more manly men. It's got
Expendables.
Jesse Ventura in it as like, I mean,
as Jesse Ventura.
As Jesse Ventura. He talks about being a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Yes.
What is more manly than that? He gets attacked.
Bunch of slack-jawed faggots.
He gets attacked. He gets attacked, and somebody's like, "You're bleeding," and he looks at him and says, "I don't have time to bleed.
I ain't got time to bleed."
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
I pulled 2 clips from Predator. That's how much it is amazing.
You can't get more manly than that.
I agree. Nick, we showed that to Nick for the first time like a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Fucking movie.
I actually learned about that movie. My best friend in high school, his little brother was like 4 years old and called himself a sexual tyrannosaurus. And I was like, Marcus, you... First of all, awesome. Secondly, you can't say that at 4. That's not...
They're starting early now.
You don't know what that is. And you shouldn't say that.
You keep that kid away from Ben's girls, all right? Because that's not right.
Well,
it's not right.
I mean, he was 4 at the time, and this was
now he's
19 years
man.
ago. So
wow.
he's
Jesus.
You know,
he's a real man.
So definitely keep him away from my girls.
He's a grown ass man.
God.
That is wow.
Did anyone see the new Predator?
No,
I haven't. I want to.
I haven't seen it either.
Now, what about you, Nick? What was your favorite old school manly movie?
Rocky.
Ah, yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's a
Rocky.
good
one.
Which one?
Yeah, Rocky one. Rocky one.
I mean,
and,
Rocky
and the one
4
with the
is,
robot. Yeah,
I think the
robot.
manliest one.
But think about it though, for real. Rocky's a pretty good male role model. He's not very bright, but he's always got the best intentions. He's like so good to Adrian. He trains hard, like hard as his body will allow him to train. Beats the shit out of people. You've got sort of the father-son dynamic with Mickey.
Oh yeah.
You explore like a lot of masculine themes in that movie before you're done.
Cut me.
So the fucking theme and him running around, people following him through the streets of Philadelphia.
But does 4 get bonus points because it's got Dolph Lundgren in it?
Yes.
I mean, I think 4 gets the U.S. Russia one.
Like, I feel like 4 is the manliest of
I'm
the
saying,
Rockies.
I think you're up there with Matt said. Whoa, hey, listen, I'll explain. When I was little, that was the first probably action drama, first movie I ever saw. My dad was like loves the Rocky movies. That was my first thing able to see like a drama. It wasn't animated, that was really like sticks out in my memory. So that's why for me.
Well, no, I think you're right though in that. I mean, he tells him to cut. him is like one of the most manly scenes ever at the end, where he's like his eyes all swollen shut and he's like, cut me. That's fucking crazy.
It's just like resolve to succeed and to like get the girl you love, and you got like a father relationship with your trainers, like pushing you, and like you're pushing up to the absolute physical limit. And then it ends with Adrian, and that's a pretty fucking manly
I'm
movie.
100% with you, man.
I like it.
But another one that I just wanted to mention, I don't think that anyone would bring this one up. What about Starship Troopers?
That's a good 90s.
Casper Van Dien?
I mean, it's a nerd, definitely on the nerdy.
I mean, it's
spectrum,
a war movie, so I think it falls in that parameter.
It's a parody of a war movie. I mean,
Yes.
like the writer actually just this week came out and said, because they were talking about how they're doing this update of Starship Troopers,
Yeah.
and he was just like, well, if they're not going to include, he's like, we wrote the entire thing as a satire. Like, people just didn't like realize it was supposed to be a early 1940s over the top propaganda film, and that was the joke. That was a propaganda film. Good. But a lot of people didn't. It got terrible reviews when it came out. People, I remember watching it and just being like, I don't understand how people aren't getting the fact that this is parody.
It's so good. I think that was a really good example of that was a movie that was terribly reviewed, but everyone I knew that saw it was like, it's real.
Awesome.
Everyone would go,
It's really
no,
awesome.
it's really smart.
It's
like
really,
everyone,
it's good.
most even morons realized it was satire and smart. Somehow the critics just didn't. They thought it was like a video game generation movie.
You definitely have the unnecessary nudity, totally unnecessary.
But I love it.
Totally unnecessary, like gratuitous
flapjack
gore
titties
with the aliens and guns, and it's actually it's a pretty manly movie, but in the guise of something a little sillier.
For sure.
Even the women are pretty manly.
Right. Well, they put them on
Everyone's
equal.
a dude.
They put them on equal footing. The girls are the dudes too.
Yeah.
Are some of the
Which is
biggest
cool.
badasses.
Absolutely. I think that makes it like super. I think that's a really good example.
It's very progressive. Yeah.
The movie's very woke.
No.
It was. Listen, it all started with Starship Troopers.
Is there anything?
It all started with the Paul Verhoeven's just incessant nudity on Starship Troopers.
Is there anything less woke than
What
a
was her
white
name?
guy
Dina?
saying woke?
Yeah.
I don't think there is. Now, what about you? Dina Meyer.
It's
Dina Meyer, that's right.
It's Frank Bullitt for me.
Okay.
Because I had always grown up like seeing like Eastwood and stuff like that, but when the first time I ever watched Bullitt, I was just like, that guy's a badass. Like, you just see Steve McQueen as Frank Bullitt, like in the opening of that movie as a detective, and I was just like, that's a guy you do not want to fuck with. Like, I was just like, that guy's more on edge than Dirty Harry to me.
Yeah.
And so that was like the pinnacle when I saw some of the early movies in it. I know that was 1968, I think, when Bullitt came out.
Like that, yeah.
Do you think when your last name is Bullitt, you pretty much have no choice but to become kind of a hardened ex-cop?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was current cop. I mean, he was
Current cop, okay.
Yeah, he was a
Hi, I'm
detective in
Frank
the movie.
Bullitt. Can I interest you in a mattress?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work very well.
I'm Frank Bullitt. Can we get you a high interest loan?
It doesn't hurt that movie. It doesn't hurt that movie still has some of the best like chase sequences of any movie ever filmed.
That's all I've seen.
That movie,
I've only seen the chase
That
scenes.
movie and The French Connection still have, and Ronin are like my three favorite. Top three favorite chase movies.
Save it for
our chase
car chase
scene
episode.
Okay.
Ronan was my favorite centaur in Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice. God damn, I love you. I'm going to kiss you on the mouth
All
for
right,
that one.
buddy.
That was amazing. Now,
I'm going to force you to read erotic poetry for my entertainment, and then I'm going to forcefully kiss you on the mouth.
yeah, by the way, this whole podcast
He
was
closed
just...
his eyes and heard
Yes.
himself make a gurgling sound.
Gurgling. You hear yourself, or
Now,
you
now
make
read one.
them?
Now read one of my excerpts.
Oh, I'm going to exert so hard tonight.
I can't reach that far.
They strongly imply the gurgling was like not on purpose.
I think they meant like guttural, but they didn't have the right word, and they just said gurgling.
He left his body and heard himself gurgling.
I still don't like the fact that Ben's talked about haunches.
Yeah.
Haunches.
That's
It's
haunting
gonna
me.
haunt you.
I didn't talk about it. The page did. It
Haunted
came off the page.
haunches.
I didn't talk that. Or say I didn't talk bad.
Those
Going
aren't
down
mine.
to her haunches and unzipping.
Haunches.
I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't like it.
All right, now
I
Ryan.
love a sweaty haunch.
So, Jesus, sweaty haunch is gross.
Sweaty
God.
haunch sounds like a weird sexual
I
maneuver.
don't want to see
A
that
dive
movie.
bar in the bad part of town.
Where's
Or the best part of town.
where's the sound effect of the train going off the rails?
The sweaty haunch is the best dirt bar name I think I've ever heard. It's so good. Now, Ryan,
Yo.
the other part, one of our other assignments today was to name a newer or a more modern manly movie. So what's your favorite? And I have, by the way, if all four of us didn't think of the one movie above all others on this, I'd be very surprised. But I want to hear your answers first.
I thought that something.
I'm very glad I get to go first here.
Yes.
Because the only answer is John Wick.
That's 100% correct.
Okay.
Literally, this dude is an assassin who's trying to shut it down, lay low, hit some breweries with his buddies, and these fools come in and kill his wife and his dog, and he's like, no, I'm back in the game. Like,
yeah,
it literally is based on the manliest premise you can possibly have in 2019.
Yes.
You killed my wife, you killed my dog. I'm
Prepare
going to ruin everything about you.
So I had one because John Wick immediately sprung to mind. I knew somebody was going to mention it. And there was one that I had that I thought that Nick might think of or mention, which is Drive.
Oh yeah.
I think that Gosling's character, in Drive,
is a Steve McQueen character.
He skipped the natural order to steal my answer.
No. Were you really?
But if we're
literally, was that what you were thinking of?
I just placed an order for the Drive soundtrack today, and it reminded me to mention it tonight on the podcast.
Oh my god!
But
that's
also,
so funny.
If we're
Because
talking,
I'm gonna let you finish,
bring it
but
up.
Drive is the best movie that Nick was going to end.
If we're talking about very
Damn
specific
you.
characters, I'm also going to throw
That's
in
uncanny.
Dom from the Fast and the Furious. I'm putting that out there.
I think that's that totally
Fast and the
fits.
Furious,
Well, hold on.
yeah.
So we've now skipped over 3 people for Ben. Let's first so you just talked about
You got
John
a good
Wick.
one though.
I mean, John Wick really is the modern. He is the modern.
No, he is.
And it took everything that we did in the '80s, but it finessed it just enough that it feels fresh and modern and not misogynistic.
And he's smart enough.
Yes.
And he doesn't.
And gosh darn it, people like him.
Exactly.
People like him. There's a respect to him. He doesn't objectify women at all.
He has an aura. He's a code.
He has a code.
And he's very much a superhero. But now, Nick, was Drive actually your pick?
Well, John Wick is my
Yeah, I figured everyone was going to
overall pick, but
That
yeah,
was mine.
like,
You can't have it.
Drive in the same way, like you categorize manly a certain way. I like that you get this like stoic. That's a big part of it. Just how you handle himself.
He's almost like an Eastwood character mixed with a McQueen character mixed with like a mute.
Like at night. Nova from Planet of the Apes,
mixed with a mime, minus the unitard.
With somebody who does something with their hands all the time.
Jesus,
I like during the day.
It's like Brad Pitt eating.
And during the day, his character has like the most manliest job of all time. He's a stunt car driver.
Yes.
And then at night, he kills people.
You know? Getaway. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's a really good example. I would never have thought of that movie at all.
Well, just because I remember watching that movie and just being like, it's very. It reminds me of some of the tropes that were so consistent in westerns.
Sure.
Of the silent character, the but who always had the best intentions, but was silent and was.
What the hell is happening here?
What's going on?
I thought Nick was taking a phone call.
No.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? What's happening?
No, I'm kidding you.
Oh, okay.
We're doing so good with music.
Actually,
no?
You want to talk about another manly
All right,
movie?
fine.
How
Yeah,
about
fine.
The Wraith?
That's a bad manly movie.
We're talking about manly movies. We're talking about Monster Squad.
Wolfman's got
nards. You son of a bitch.
That's a young manly movie.
I
That's
almost
like
wore my
a
Stephen King rules t-shirt to the
that
podcast
I like
today.
that. Well, I mean, and I figured everyone we were gonna it was gonna be Wick, and I think that we'd be remiss to not kind of mention the superhero movies as a genre up to Wonder Woman were very manly or the one that I went with was one that I thought you might do as well, which is the Mission Impossible series. And I think
definitely.
Ethan Hunt is a phenomenal manly man, and there's another aspect we haven't touched upon that I think in not every one of them, but a lot of them is the male camaraderie. So whether you call that the homoeroticism side of it or not, but there's
Greased up volleyball.
Most
Greased
of these
up
dudes
volleyball.
have a second dude that they're like they have the dude love. The Fast and Furious movies made an entire franchise out of bro love. Like
La Familia.
That's right, La Familia. I've only seen one of those movies, and even I know that fucking shit. And
You almost
and
had
they drink
me?
a lot of Corona.
You didn't even have your car. Line makes no sense.
I do like though that I think there's something we're kind of touching on with these, and that manly movies, while they kind of get a bad rap of being mindless, whatever, there's sort of a code and a lesson for people that it's whether it's about love of your family or it's about like having a good friend and friendship and how important all that stuff. There's a lot of good messaging for kids.
Yeah, I feel
sometimes in these movies.
Sometimes in your traditional manly movies, there's no moral ambiguity. There's good and there's bad. There's no gray. Typically, I do like what John Wick has brought to the table because it does introduce that gray space where it's just like these people kind of all exist.
Except he has a code, though.
No, they still has a code.
They still have a code.
Everybody is still kind of existing in that gray space, in that gray area. The best band name that I was ever a part of, the Gray Area.
Well, can you make an argument now that manly movies today are like Wedding Crashers and those types of things where it's more about your bro camaraderie than it is being veined out and fighting?
Would you call The Hangover like a manly movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could you hold on?
Yes.
Flip that. Can you make an argument that it's not a manly movie?
No, I think first of all, it meets a lot of things. There's bro code involved in it.
There's bro code.
It's a bachelor party, which is a very manly event.
And
there are strippers.
Yeah. There's titties. I think that counts as manly.
It qualifies.
Well, and this is a good bridge over to manly movies you wouldn't normally consider to be manly movies. So Ryan, did you have a good pick of a movie that you think other people might not classify as manly? I see he's getting his notebook out.
I have a couple. One I think you're gonna love.
Okay.
Princess Bride is absolutely a manly movie.
Really interesting.
This is almost like when Ben tried to convince me that Braveheart was a romance, but I'll allow it.
A chick flick. I thought it was the topic.
Yeah, Braveheart was a chick flick, correct, yes. I can see parts of that,
There's sword fighting, there's revenge, there's loving a beautiful woman, there's Andre the Giant.
I think the grandfather is trying to convince Fred Savage that it is a manly movie. I will allow it. I'll allow it.
Mine is so close to yours, you have no idea.
I'm just saying, like, again, can you make the argument that it's not? It is very much a manly movie.
Okay, I can see that. I can see this. And you said you had a couple others, or do you want to?
No, none that are great.
That's it. Nikki?
I mean, maybe Chasing Amy, I think, is a manly movie.
Chasing Amy. As you know, I have my Chasing Amy poster.
Kevin Smith is a lot of machismo and
yes.
overtones to everything he does.
Yeah, sure, but
and
it's
not
also,
just because he writes women poorly.
But it's also manly in that, like, we've all been there type of feeling.
Yeah.
Sure.
I get what
of
you're
like
saying.
every guy can watch that movie, watch any Kevin Smith movie, and think, man, I've been there. I absolutely understand what you're talking about. And then at the end, when they try to get the two dudes to hook up, like there's that manly interaction again.
That's the part of that movie that I really do love the most. Yeah, that delivery of "Thank Christ." That is a very manly, of like a guy that's so dude bro loves his guy that he's like, fuck, if this is what it takes to keep our friendship going. Also called "What's Going to Happen Later Tonight" with Nick and Ben and me. But anyway.
Banky went into his office fully prepared to suck Ben Affleck's dick.
He needed the water for the festival.
Well done, gentlemen. Well
done. That
done.
reference is very relevant.
It's very topical. That's the most topical we've gotten in a while.
Well done.
Nick, what about you? What's a manly movie others might not consider manly?
Pass.
What? Nothing?
I don't know if I have anything for that one.
Okay.
I was going to say The Count of Monte Cristo.
God damn it,
Of
Ben.
course.
Jesus Christ. And
you're right. No one would think that.
And you said that was similar to Ryan's choice in
Princess Bride.
Yeah, I guess
it's all about revenge.
I love the sandwich from that movie.
It's period.
God damn it.
It's period. It's all about revenge. It's all a guy that you don't anticipate at the beginning. You think is kind of a pussy who becomes this just like debonair, like absolute.
What was that word?
Debonair.
Debonair.
Oh, how about Army of Darkness?
McCaber.
Oh, Army of Darkness, 100% manly movie.
I don't even think that's questionable.
No. Any movie with Ashton is definitely.
Oh yeah.
Well,
manly.
the first one not as
much.
He's kind of a
Evil Dead 2 is
Evil
definitely
Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, so especially is very.
You don't think
much
The Count of Monte Cristo is a manly movie?
I think it qualifies. It was funny to me that you like.
Is the
you
sandwich
put it on
a manly sandwich?
Yeah, I don't think that's not a manly movie. I don't think it's a movie that people would watch and say that's not a manly movie.
You don't think that like that Jim Caviezel's character becomes like that? He just because he becomes this like God almost.
Okay, I can see it. I can see it.
He became the son of God.
You want me? There we go.
And then
nice. Passion.
Nailed it.
Passion. Manly movie.
Passion of the Christ. Manly movie.
I think it's a manly movie.
Yeah.
I think he's
pretty fucking manly.
I think he's pretty manly in that movie with a lot of stuff.
Thank Christ.
I picked one that I thought Ben might pick. Which is Field of Dreams.
That's also on my list.
Field of Dreams is the other
Bull
side
Durham.
of yes. Others
is that
okay? Bull Durham is
the more
super
manly
manly,
movie.
But Bull Durham's an unquestionably manly movie.
Yes, exactly.
Field of Dreams is like I'm gonna cry a little bit manly movie.
Yes. This is the I'm a vulnerable man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
manly
Field
movie.
of Dreams falls into that window of other people might not think this is a manly movie, but Bull Durham is 100%.
After Matt's done, I have a quick dissertation.
For Field of Dreams, I think you've got a man who
you can cry as long as sports caused it.
Sports are your dad, and your dad is the important part of that. That movie,
and Field of Dreams
fucking,
gets both of those.
Oh yeah, and in spades. And you've also got James Earl Jones. So you now have the bro. Right? These guys have this bonding experience with the game. It part of the thing that a manly movie does, and this is not a good thing necessarily. Manly movies, almost other than Starship Troopers, manly movies very quickly fridge or get rid of the females in it. They take them as far out of the plot as they can so that they can inherently be more manly. And what's interesting is I think that there's a change coming to that, which is part of our last bit that we want to talk about, which is what do you think a manly movie will be like in 2030 was what Ben posed. So Ben, what do you pitch me your 2030 manly movie?
So first off, before I get into that, I want to make a quick point about Kevin Costner. Is that Kevin Costner was in also For Love of the Game, where he was playing a manly man. At the end, has this breakdown where he realizes that he's been kind of shoving love off the entire time, and that was the one thing. And it's actually one of the more vulnerable performances I've ever seen from Kevin Costner. People who haven't seen For Love of the Game, it's a totally underrated movie as a man's man movie, because it's a man who has always lived his life as a consummate man's man, and realizing it at the end of his career and in the twilight as he's approaching retirement, that's not what life is about. And I think that that's a really cool movie to watch because of that. I actually really love the part where he breaks down at the end of that movie is so earnest, and it's one of the best performances that Kevin Costner's ever had. And I love Kevin Costner.
We know literally Kevin Costner is in the description of this podcast on iTunes.
I fucking love Kevin Costner. Bull Durham, fucking manly, one of the manliest movies of all time.
Oh yeah,
Waterworld.
Talking about Ernest. What about Ernest Goes to Camp?
Ernest Goes to Camp.
Any of those are manly movies.
My
When he
mind went the
cries
same
singing
way.
to that turtle.
Ernest is a man's man.
He's a sensitive
he's in
man.
construction.
He's
He
a
likes to build
he's a
things.
sensitive
Both our
man's
wheels were
man.
turning about getting
He's a
out.
sensitive man.
I
I was
like
like, come on.
this.
Hey Vern, can I go? Hey Vern, how can I work that joke in and you beat me?
I'm not going to go
Hey,
down.
Ernest.
It's like we're not even here.
I'm not going to go for the full.
Just you guys take the rest of the show, right?
Hey guys, we'll say, I'm out of beer anyway, so I'm gonna see y'all
It
later.
doesn't matter.
Ben doesn't give a shit about us.
I'm not going to go down the full rabbit hole of what is going to happen.
That
in
wasn't the full
2030.
rabbit hole.
I flew out from Texas, damn it. And Ben's just like, hey guys, I got this black and white fucking manly movie.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I want to talk about. No, that's it. No, I made me play it off. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry.
And all I was going to say is my last point is. Man. Okay, now you're a man.
Now you're a male.
A man.
Make your point, Ben.
I think it's going to be a little net. Great. Please don't start playing fucking pumpkins.
Please play pumpkins.
It's okay.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's
aliens.
He pressed the wrong button.
I think we're done with this podcast.
No. We've got some shit to go.
No.
What do you want to say?
We're almost at it. Anyways, all I was going to say is that I think it's nebulous about seeing what's going to happen in 2030. But I think there's going to be a continuation of the kind of the feeling gentleman, like the guy who's in touch with who has the masculine side, who's tough and who's a bruiser, but is going to be connected in a very, sensitive way to everything that's happening around him. And
the perfect man.
Yeah, the perfect man.
Well, it's you almost see that with like a Gran Torino now, where they take Clint Eastwood, who's like the manliest of men, and put him in Gran Torino, and it's like, okay, let's watch him be this weird racist guy sitting on his porch, where it's no longer something we're looking at as something to aspire to.
Yeah.
It's Clint Eastwood is now
the anti-man.
Clint Eastwood is now the racist on the porch, talking about all of his neighbors.
Now, what about you, Nick? Do you have an idea of the 2030 manly movie?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of go along with Ben's. I think that it's protecting you're going to see a lot more a rash of those, like, protect your family at all costs, whether it be a disaster movie,
it's
or
La Familia,
or if it's more specific. But like, just think about when our economy will tank, when people are starting to struggle, they're not getting their tax returns back in time. They're going to see the flood of like protect the family at all costs, and that could be an action star, that could be a drama. I think that's going to be on the rise. Just to kind of just match sort of just everyone I think is really focused on that right now. We're doing whatever they need to do. Government shutdowns and things like, I don't know, you don't get too political about it, but truly, people are scared they're not going to have enough money put away. Millennials are like working like a house market that's way different than their parents ever had. So it's going to be about just like protecting your family and providing.
The everyman.
Yeah.
I wrote a very short pitch. So I want to pitch this to you guys. I want to see if you sign off on this movie.
Let me see.
Liam Neeson is it?
I was real close to doing something like that.
Like you've never seen him before.
And I wanted to go back to the roots, where I think one of the things that's very important for a manly movie is the name of the manly movie man.
That's true.
So Billy Savage, an ex-CIA operative, has been living a quiet, retired life as a social studies teacher in northern Wisconsin. Billy has a wonderful family and a classroom of students to adore. But Billy's peaceful retirement is interrupted when Canada declares war on the U.S., and they begin an occupation of Billy's sleepy Wisconsin town.
It's a bad choice. It's a bad decision.
When a Canadian soldier destroys Billy's prize-winning garden, all bets are off, and the CIA training picks up where it left off. Can Billy save Wisconsin and the U.S. from the new Canadian overlords? Can Billy's CIA training help the 5th period social studies class to protect their school? And have you been picturing Billy as a man this whole time? Because you're wrong, bitches. This is 2030. And Emily Blunt is Billy Savage. Starring in Maple Dawn.
Maple Dawn.
Maple Dawn.
It sounds like a beer that we would drink
It is
tomorrow.
It is an indirect reboot of Red Dawn. Starring Emily
Blunt
as Billy Savage.
I think take this moment to
I think
talk
manly
about how much
movies,
I love Emily Blunt.
She's phenomenal.
She's amazing.
I think the future of manly men movies is women. I think it's going to happen.
The future is female.
Wonder Woman has,
Abs-
definitely jumped out on the forefront of that.
First off,
Get that patent.
Gal Gadot is fucking perfect. So
yes,
I mean,
100%.
I've never watched. I literally in my lifetime.
Oh wow!
Probably since I was a kid.
I
don't think since I've seen Batman Returns and saw Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns. Who I liked Michelle Pfeiffer before
Also
Batman
attractive.
Returns, but I was just like, whoa. Oh, there you go.
Maybe you just like superheroes.
It's true.
Just put on a
Maybe it's
costume,
like leather.
baby. Hey,
but no. When I watched Wonder Woman, I was just like,
I got this Black Widow costume, baby. Why don't you go slip
Was
that
Michelle
on?
Pfeiffer the best Catwoman?
Yes, she was.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so I got this.
Hey, by the way,
Storm costume.
I want to say it's really funny because I know we're
Why don't
nearing
you call
the
your
end.
friend over? I got a rogue.
I have a note here that I just said. I wrote to myself. Ryan is going to bring up Tombstone. Just let him do it.
Oh. First of all, 100% manly movie.
Here's
like,
the thing.
oozing manly movie.
I was going to bring it up because it is 100% written under my favorite old school manly movies.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
But I left it alone simply because I knew that it was expected.
And on this
I'm
podcast,
so sorry.
the only thing to expect is the unexpected.
Because Val Kilmer's character in Tombstone might be the manliest man to have ever been in a movie.
He's got tuberculosis. There's nothing more manly than that.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
The manliest line ever.
I got 2 guns. One for the both of you.
The problem with that claim, though, is that
There's no problem with that claim. There's no problem with it. Shut up.
Sam Elliott has been in films, though. That's the problem. He's been in multiple films.
In
any
Sam
role.
Elliott is a very. We didn't discuss facial hairs in importance in manliness. I think a mustache is the manliest accoutrement you can have.
I already said McCree in the thing. McCree has that full-on fucking beard.
Jean-Claude Van Damme in, what body hair is in Bloodsport? The only body hair in Bloodsport... Apollo Creed wasn't in Bloodsport.
Probably pubes.
No, I think...
The only body hair in Bloodsport was the dude in the Harley Davidson headband that got his ass whooped. Jean-Claude Van Damme, guarantee you, he did not have a hair on his body.
Yeah, if you look at Rocky IV... no
much
hair.
Yes, there is.
None
fucking
hair.
Apollo Creed?
He got
Apollo Creed
the guy that died?
At the
That's
very beginning
super
of the
manly.
movie.
But he boxes.
Time out.
Of the movie.
He died.
Yeah, but he's still manly with his mustache.
Who lived? The people without body hair.
I think mustache manlier than beard.
Okay.
I think especially in the 80s, mustaches were
can't
very
grow a
manly.
mustache.
First of all,
That's right,
rude.
but everyone can grow a beard.
First of all, Ryan and I are just like, fuck you.
I can't grow a mustache. I can almost
Case
kind of
in
sort of
point.
kind of case yeah, exactly. Kind of can sort of grow a beard. A man that can grow a big bushy fucking mustache, that's a man's man.
Okay.
That's
so basically, you love Burt Reynolds.
yeah, super manly dude. 100% a man's man.
I respect that.
All right,
actually.
so I liked where Nick was going before, and I want to close the podcast on this.
What's a funny way of showing it?
God damn it. I'm trying, Nick. Don't beat me up over this. I like the idea of a man's man bracket. So I want you guys to throw out some ideas of man versus man, and we decide who it. So first one, easy. Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger.
I think Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. Okay.
It's not even
Hey, I
competition.
have a good one.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford versus Kurt Russell.
Harrison Ford.
Kurt Russell for me.
I think I'm a Russell man. Nick?
Has Kurt Russell ever had a giant ball chasing him down an ancient ruin?
No, but he fought with a bunch of Asian people in
All right, I got one. I got one.
Lots of people have fought with a bunch of Asian people.
Chuck Norris or Shaggy?
Tokyo Drift.
Obviously Shaggy.
What if Shaggy can only use 1% of his power?
Still Shaggy.
Okay.
Wait, unless we're talking about the singer Shaggy, in which case Chuck Norris. Wait, the singer
What, you
Shaggy
call me on the
versus
counter?
Shaggy.
It wasn't me.
I tried to pull another fast one like you did on us.
I've got a cross-sex one here. How about Michelle Yeoh versus Jet Li?
Michelle Yeoh. 100% Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh versus Ming Na. When?
What?
Michelle Yeoh.
I watched Ming Na in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's pretty kick-ass in that. But
yeah.
I think Michelle Yeoh still wins. Emily Blunt
Yes.
or...
Sigourney Weaver.
Or, Blunt versus Weaver.
That's Weaver. That's Weaver in in the straight up fight.
Next.
What was your original
Have
one?
you seen Sicario? You seen Emily Blunt kick some fucking major ass
Yes,
in Sicario?
yes, I
She
have.
could
But,
stand up to Sigourney.
What was your original Emily Blunt verse?
Oh, it was going to be Emily Blunt versus Val Kilmer in Tombstone.
Val Kilmer. I really thought you were going to go Emily Blunt versus Pam, the receptionist.
First of all, I want...
Okay, listen. How about this? Kevin Costner
in the battle for
Kevin
Jim
Costner
Halpert.
as Wyatt Earp versus
Kurt
Russell
as
as Wyatt Earp.
Ooh. Shit.
That's a hard one, man.
God damn.
You got two very manly men, two former professional athletes.
I have to go with
two
Kevin
friends.
Costner. I have to go with Kevin Costner because Hell's coming with him.
No,
but
No,
Kurt Russell
that's Kurt
called
Russell.
down the thunder, and now you
Shit.
got it.
yeah, you're right. Kurt Russell was the one who said hell is coming with him.
Then I go with Kurt Russell because Hell's coming with him.
I
and
think,
I'm
based
wrong.
on my thing earlier, Kurt Russell's mustache is better than Costner's
100%
mustache, and I think he wins.
Mustache wins all.
lot. There we go.
Current- gotta be Kurt Russell.
We did it.
Wait, current Clint Eastwood versus current Buzz Aldrin, who punched that reporter.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, I think I might go Aldrin.
I'm gonna go Buzz. He gets
Is Clint Eastwood talking shit about flat Earth?
Yeah,
he's got a right hook.
Yeah.
Buzz has been to space.
Yeah, well,
All right.
he'd like you to believe that.
I've got one for you.
Sorry, Buzz.
Okay,
Don't track
okay.
me down.
John Wick, the character, versus James Bond.
John Wick.
One Punch Man.
But Bond has all of the gadgets and the
Wick.
cues. Okay.
But Wick has a wife
Can
and a
anyone
dog
see
that
what
have been
Wick
killed.
killed everybody with a pencil.
Can Wick
It's Bond.
Can Wick be beaten? Does someone have someone that can beat Wick? That's my question.
He's just a dude, right?
See, here's the thing. I almost think that Ethan Hunt would be more of a better clash
Or
with Wick.
Jason Bourne.
or even Bourne, because they have more of the technical
Yes.
knowledge and they have the not even so much the gadgets.
They have the training.
They have
Wait.
the training.
Jason Bourne or Ethan Hunt?
Hunt.
I know it's Hunt.
Just to be contrarian, I'm going to go with Bourne.
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Matt Damon ain't beating no Tom Cruise.
Matt Damon.
Anyway, I think you know what?
Is wonderful.
We had 4 men in a room together, a lot of testosterone, a lot of smells, and
It does stink in here.
I think we did it. I think we
did it.
conquered the Manly Men movies.
Congratulations, Ryan. You survived.
Ryan, thank you so much for
Can I-
flying here only to do this
the only
podcast and
reason
not
I'm
at
here.
all to have beers and whatever else.
Can I tell
Yes.
you about my 2030 pitch real quick? It's
Absolutely.
not fleshed out in any way.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I really want I wanted it to be a combo of Swamp Thing and Deep Impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
With
Wait a minute.
I have never heard anything that I want to hear more than this.
Greenlit.
and I want it to be called Toxic Masculinity.
Oh my God.
Like the Toxic Avenger.
You've done it.
That's why I forced
You've
that
done it.
conversation in there. I literally was like,
Nice.
no, we can't shut down because I'm so proud of this. I thought about it on my Spirit flight.
That's great.
No, I'm sorry. No.
I love it. Play the Beth. I love it.
Sorry.
Nerd.
There
There
we
it
go.
is.
There you go.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
We have it.
It's genius.
We have
I
it.
think
We're done.
really the proper response to that is
There you go.
I think that's it. We want to thank Ryan for coming in and being a wonderful guest
Thanks,
and
Ryan.
a great part of the podcast today. We're super excited to have you here.
You're welcome.
We want to thank all of you listening, including Ryan, who's probably listening to me say these things right now on the podcast that he was on. I'm talking to Ryan in the future.
I've cut
Ryan,
the listeners in half.
Go back in time. Don't have that last beer. Just saying right now. Just don't do it. Take my advice.
I'm gonna have it.
Thank you. This is true. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in to The New Way. We have got some great episodes coming up planned for you guys. So keep on listening. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And come on back.
Yeah.
We like
Cheers.
having you.
Time to get some hot pot, motherfuckers.
Stay golden, Pony boy.
Manly
Pony boy.
Hot. The Outsiders super manly movie. I love it.
No
Big
doubt.
golden pony boy.
Cheers, guys.
Just said that.
I wanted to say it too.
I respect that.